Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to have a little rant here about the way in which the left seem to embrace Islam all the time. I was just watching the demonstrations in Tahrir Square in Egypt and how Morsi's government looks like it's going to be taken down. I've got a couple of friends who live in Cairo, and initially they were like happy to see the back of Mubarak, but now they're just absolutely hating this new government and how Islamist it is. And I just find it really strange how in Muslim countries liberals face off against the Muslim Brotherhood and stuff like that, whereas in the West it seems to be the absolute opposite. The liberals seem to like the Islamists, and I just find this a very strange contradiction, and it just makes me wonder why the fuck do people, I shouldn't swear, sorry, why people on the left seem to always coddle Islam, and I just find it really bizarre. Now, I know I always talk about, leftists and Islamists, and it gets boring, but as a leftist myself and somebody who's absolutely economically on the left, I hate the fact that I basically probably always going to vote for parties that coddle this fucking. I'm not going to swear. Sorry, guys. That always coddle a religion that basically hates them. Islamists do not like liberals, so why in God's name do they celebrate each other? And yeah, I'm just going to basically rant about the left and why they just seem so kind of stupid on so many issues. And I think the main reason is because of a lot of colonial guilt and like a white guilt. Basically, we were absolute arseholes to the rest of the world 500 years, and we kind of feel like we need to apologize to everyone, and in a way I kind of support that to the extent that we need to be humble and realize that we're not right about absolutely everything, but at the same time the Western world is probably one of the best places to live, hence why people come from all over the world to live in the West, is because we seem to have things right. And when I look at Egypt and I see people protesting, you'll get people on the left in like England and America saying, "Oh man, why don't we protest like that? God, we're so bad in the West, man. We're so lazy and stupid. Look at the Egyptians protesting." And it's like you're saying that while typing onto a $500 laptop, sitting in your nice refurbished house, and basically living a life of comfort. Whereas the people in Egypt can't feed themselves and stuff like that. Their condition genuinely is bad. And here in the West, we actually have it quite good, but try telling that to a leftist, because apparently we're all shit. And I think this is kind of one of the reasons why we embrace Islam so much, is because we feel like we've wronged it. So leftists kind of want to protect it. And I find the contrast in which leftists treat Christianity to Islam startling, considering that, in my opinion, Islam is worse than Christianity, because how many Mormons kill other Catholics because they don't follow the Book of Mormon? Probably none, but in Muslim countries, Shias are killing Shiites because they believe in a different part of the Quran or something like that. And as far as I'm concerned, Islam should be getting way more stick than Christianity, but for whatever reason, it's completely acceptable amongst leftist circles to criticize Christianity and make generalizations. And fair enough, I don't give a shit, I'm an atheist, fuck Christianity. But that's A-OK, but say something about Islam and you're a racist. I just find that so crazy. I was at the pub the other night and I heard this woman saying, "Oh yeah, he's like really racist to Muslims," and I'm like, Islam isn't a fucking race, love. You can't choose to be black. You can't walk out into the street and be white. You are born that way. You are not born a Muslim. Islam is a freaking ideology, and I just find it stunning how people always leap to the defense of Islam. But hey, I mean, I guess we all know that, and this is something about people on the left, is that they're so morally superior. They think that they're right about everything, and I do think people on the left are right about a lot of things, probably more than people on the right, sorry, no offense, but nobody's perfect. There's a reason why the world is pretty much split 50-50 between conservative ideals and liberal ideas. It's because both of them have some smart ideas. Like, I like some conservative ideals too. I like probably more liberal, but most liberals think that they are 100% right and people on the right are 100% wrong. And it's this kind of like arrogance that just blows my mind, and I think is responsible for the rise of a lot of right-wing parties. It's the fact that left-wing parties go so far to the left, the average person just gets completely freaked out by that, and they hate the attitude that a lot of liberals have, is that they're right about everything and everyone else is stupid and wrong. And that's why we're losing elections. This is why I talk to my mother, who's actually running to be a Labour candidate next year. I tell her the reason why Labour is not winning elections is because of this bullshit, the way you can't say anything about immigration or Islam without being labelled a racist. That's why the general person hates leftist party, and that's why they're losing elections. It's not because of their economic policy, even though the right like to think that's why they're losing. No, it's this kind of bullshit. And yeah, I just really wish leftists would snap out of it, because I will probably always vote for left-wing parties, and I hate the fact that I'm propping up this kind of idealism and stuff. And there's this really cool Facebook page called The Other 98%. I want you to check it out, because on it is just the worst examples of what I'm talking about. I go there because sometimes there's some really great, they're like memes, you know, photos of stuff and whatever, and there's some really great ones about the economy. Like, in my opinion, the biggest problem facing humans is the disparity of wealth. The fact that one man might have $1 billion, whereas 50 million people have $1 billion collectively. I think that's the biggest problem facing humanity, and that's why I will always vote for left-wing parties. But the other stuff on this Facebook page is just unbelievable, like the militant feminism and the kind of militant protecting of like minority religions and races and stuff, and you know, the Trayvon Martin case. I don't know whether you guys are following it, but this is just a really tragic case of a young black kid getting killed, and I think the George Zimmerman dude should probably do a few years, just for the simple fact that he's ended someone's life. But people on the left have turned this into this massive race thing, which makes no sense, because George Zimmerman is a Hispanic dude. But the left are going on about how this is white on black violence, the kid was racially profiled, and it's just like, where did that come from? Like, how did they turn this poor kid being killed into this race issue? And people always talk about the EDL or right-wingers, fascists, exploiting tragic instances like the death of Lee Rigby, which was tragic. And yeah, the EDL have exploited it. But the left fucking exploit this shit too. Like, for example, in the Trayvon Martin case, they turned this very quickly into a race issue, when really it was just a very fucked up misunderstanding and bullshit, and odds are Zimmerman guy will probably get off, and then there'll be race riots and stuff, all because people wanted to pat themselves on the back and say, look how racist they are, look how good we are, and you know, it's just kind of crazy stuff like that I moan about the left. And I'm probably repeating myself, I probably say this crap pretty much every time I make a YouTube video, but it just frustrates the hell out of me. And I really think that if left-wing parties want to get the social change, the social justice that I believe in across, like if we really do want to help working classes, we need to abandon all this like holier than thou liberal attitude bullshit, where everybody else is wrong and a racist and a mean person, and we're so enlightened and smart and tolerant, because it's all a facade. And you know, the working class man, he might not be have a great education and know a lot about the world, but real people can smell bullshit. They're very good at understanding genuinity or whatever, and they can smell a rat. So I think the working class people are not voting for the Labour Party because of this shit, and as a result, the Tories then fuck up, in my opinion, the NHS and all that shit. And you know, it's just tragic seeing how the left's right ideas are being circumnavigated by all this bullshit, and it really depresses me. And yeah, I just find it fascinating, back to the whole thing at the beginning, how in Egypt the liberals are firmly against the Islamists, and it's the opposite in the West. It's a very crazy thing. And yeah, basically the left are kind of full of shit, and the right are kind of full of shit. Yeah, why the hell isn't there 4 parties? I want a party that gives me the economic policies to the left, and the kind of, you know, traditionalist, I don't really like saying that word because fuck traditionalism, but you know, the kind of no BS side of the Conservatives. I kind of like that, and I like a little bit of nationalism here and there. Gay rights, I'm all for that. Fucking love abortions, they're fantastic, let's keep those. But yeah, why isn't there 4 parties? There's only 2, and that's also the problem as well. So it's all a bunch of bullshit. And yeah, that was my little rant. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna try and make some more videos in the future, and yeah, keep posted, baby. Bye bye.